everybody, Howard here with Beginning Blues Guitar Part 5. Now in Part 4 what we did was a beginning blues guitar solo using that E blues scale that we had covered in previous lessons. Okay, but I consider this one, Part 5, to really be an extension of Part 3. Because we're still working with that E blues rhythm, but we're going to do a lot more embellishment. I'll show you a new and fresher way to play the basic blues pattern. And we'll put in a few more fills. Some of them will be familiar, right, from the previous lessons, but others will be more expanded, okay? So the best thing to do is just let me play it for you. I will play it at tempo, but trust me, I will slow everything down and take you through it bit by bit. Okay, so let's jump into it. That opening lick is right out of that long form or linear version of the E blues scale. You can see the tab up on the screen, but I will play it for you nice and slow. Once again, real slow. As you can see, we walk right into that B7 chord. So when you do that walk, you kind of land the chord or form the chord after the bass note, the root note of the chord, just in time to sweep through the rest of the chord, okay? So here it is up to tempo. All right, and then we are into the standard blues boogie type pattern, right? But instead of doing what we did in previous lessons, which was basically that type of thing, we're going to add a bit of harmony to it using double stops, essentially double stops. So what we're doing is you place your first finger on the first fret on the G string, your second finger on the second fret of the A string, and the D string in between is muted out, okay, just by the laziness of this finger. But we want to employ the open E string as well. But let's do the shapes first. We're going to move from here, and these are all the same strings. So now it's second fret on the G string and fourth fret on the A string. So we're going from here to here. Now this next one I play like this. Using my second finger, I form the fourth fret on the G string and the fifth fret on the A string. But if that's uncomfortable for you to do, just simply switch up to your first two fingers. So the first one and the third one will be the same. And then you come back to the middle one, right? Once again, I play because I find that easier to do, but that might not be the easiest way for you, so feel free to do it however you want. Now, the most important thing here is we're hitting those strings. We're not using the open B or the open E, but then we swing up and hit that E string. Right? So it's in between each one of those. More time. And then we want to do a little bend, like a quarter bend, bluesy bend at the third fret on the E string, landing an E power chord, if you want to call it that. So I'm just fretting the second fret on the A string and using the open E string as well. So very slowly that would be one more time. Okay, now after you've done that, that takes the place of the first chord, by the way. After you've done that, you're going to go straight to the second position. Okay, so it's going to look and sound like this. Right? So you can hear that open E string right before you go to that second position. So real slow again. Okay, and you can see that on the tab, but that is the complete figure before we start over again. So you play it twice essentially, right? And on that second go around, if you want to get fancy, you can hammer your first finger if that's not too difficult to do, and it gives it a little bit of flavor, right? All right, now we want to take it to A, correct? So what we're doing here is we form an A chord, bar chord style, right? Just placing your first finger across the second fret. And we want to hit that A chord. We don't want to connect with the first E string, but we want to hit that A chord. And we're going to do the same thing, except we're employing the B string, so the shape looks a little bit different from what we just did. So we're going to move from the A chord to the second fret on the B string and the fourth fret on the D string. Okay, these are the shapes once again. And then both of those strings, the same strings at the fifth fret. Fifth on the D string, fifth on the B string. I tend to play it like this, but if it's more comfortable, choose whatever fingers you want. Trust me, it's totally fine. But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put that A string in between. It's the exact same move, just using different strings. So let me do that real slow so that you can see it and hear it. On these shapes, the G string is muted out, just like the D string was on the E. Okay, so let's put those together. As you can see, of course, I came back to E, the 1. Okay, so we play the 1 2 times, play the 4, which is the A, 1 time, and then back to E, the 1 time. I hope that makes sense. So now we're moving to the 5 chord, of course, which is a B7. These are chords that were covered in the previous lessons. And what I'm doing here is a little bit of an arpeggio, a triplet. 1 2 3. 1 2 3, right across the D, the A, the D, and the G strings. And then we hit the whole chord 2 times. So we have come back and hit the bass note again, the A string, and then the chord again. So we have and then we're going to have a passing note, which we've had in previous lessons, which will be the first fret on the A string, and that's going to walk us into the A7 chord. And you can see on the A7 chord, I did the exact same arpeggio idea. 1 2 3. Right? So we have from that B chord again. So then we're going to move to the turnaround, and as mentioned before, there's lots of different turnarounds that you can do, and we'll be covering quite a few of them in this lesson, but for now we'll do a couple that are reasonably familiar, okay? Now the most important thing is coming off of that A7 chord, just like we had a passing tone on the first fret on the A string into the A7 chord, we have a passing chord, we have a passing tone out of the A7 chord into the turnaround. And that will be on the 3rd fret on the 6th string. Okay, so let me put that together for you from the B7 chord. And then we hit that open E string, all right? And then we do this walk down. And that's similar to what we've done in previous lessons, but starting it at a different point, so to speak, instead of the 7th fret. So we have one more time. So from the B7, not to be redundant, but it's important, from the B7 we have and then we form a C7 chord using just 3 strings, the A string, the D string, and the G. So we have the 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the D string, and 3rd fret on the G string. So we want to pick just those 3 strings. And then go to a full B7 chord. And you can see I did a couple of strums at the end to complete the rhythm. An upstroke and a downstroke. So that's the first 12 bars of this exercise, right? So let's put it all together, nice and slow, and you can see the tab on the screen as it goes by, and we will just do it from there. Here we go. And a little note on that turnaround. As mentioned in previous lessons, I think cross picking is the best way to go. Down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up. So let's get into the next 12 bars now. We started out with a lick, which is very similar to what we did in previous lessons, but just a slight bit more movement, if you will. So let me play that nice and slow with the tab on the screen. And again for that, I'm sliding from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the G string, right inside that E blues scale, that open position blues scale. And the picking is down, down, up this time. So that you can swing back to the G string and the B string that you're going to need. So that's 2nd fret on the G string and the B string, and then both of those strings open. 2nd fret on the D string. You can see all of this on the tab, of course, but just walking you through it. With a little pull off there at the end. And that walks us right into the blues boogie pattern, right? Now for this pattern, we're playing twice at the 2nd fret, once at the 4th fret, and then back to the 2nd fret. So we have. And then we have the 2nd lick, which is leading us into that little walk up, okay? And this is very similar again to what we did in a previous lesson, but with a slight bit more embellishment to it. And I'd like to stress that that's what this is all about, right? You get a handful of licks that you can switch up, change, combine, add little bits to it, take little bits away, and you get that nice variety in your playing. And then we have a walk up to the A chord. But you can look at that whole thing as one phrase. So we move to the 4 chord, which is A, of course, and we're playing the same pattern. 2 at the 2nd fret, 1 at the 4th, and back to 1. But of course, we're going to add a lick to this as well. These are double stops, of course, in a very bluesy style. And so what I'm playing here is I'm sliding up to the 6th fret on the G string from wherever you happen to slide from. Wherever you start is totally fine. And then I'm placing my first finger on the 5th fret on the 1st E string. And I think alternate picking is best for that. Down, up, down. Move that same shape down a whole step to where your first finger is at the 3rd fret. Same picking pattern. And then the 2nd fret, both of those strings in the 2nd fret, you can play it like that, or you can play it like that. And again, that picking is going to be down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, finally to the open strings, right? So from that A then we have and right back to E. And you notice I'm playing each of those patterns twice before I do the fill or the lick, okay? So let's do what we've got so far nice and slow. The final lick, which is very similar to what we played at the intro, but slightly different. We're just literally traversing the blues scale. Again, slowly. And that takes us back to the 5 chord, of course, which is B7. And instead of arpeggiating this time, again, just to get variety into your playing, I'm just hitting the bass note twice, the chord twice, and then each of them once. Passing tone, 1st fret on the A string, and then an A7 chord played slightly differently. Same passing tone off of the A chord, the 3rd fret on the E string. So we have hit that 6th string, the open E string, and let it ring, and then we play this turnaround, which is probably familiar as well from a previous lesson. So we have I think down, down, up cross picking is best for that. Now, if you wanted to go another round of 12-bar blues, you would play that C7 to the B7 again, and then you could start another round. If you want to end it, you'll go to an F9 chord and take it down a half step to an E9. So you would have Alright, so let's play that whole entire 2nd round nice and slow. So there you go with Beginning Blues Guitar, Part 5 in the series. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and thanks for all the positive comments and everything else. And this is a Fender Paramount. A lot of people ask what this guitar is. It's a Fender Paramount, and I use D'Addario strings 12 through 52, I believe they are. And that's about it. A heavy pick. I tend to use heavy picks. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And for those of you who have asked about supporting the channel, if you want to support the channel, you can do so for a penny shy of $5 a month, right? By joining the membership program. Just become a member of 24/7 Guitar, and that's plenty of support right there. Okay. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.